Why do people say shaving the beard is haram when they don't say that dyeing the hairs? Exactly, Mr. O'Donnell. Azarati, you're doing it as always. You're doing it. Um, right. Let me just make sure my Facebook comments are up to scratch as well. So yeah, so this is the thing, you see, because people, everybody agrees that the beard was not something the Prophet introduced. Nobody makes a claim that the Prophet introduced the beard. And what they feel is that they all recognize that the Prophet had a beard, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but pretty much Arabs, for the most part, all kept beards, the men. So it was something that he was a part of, as since he was a part of that, the Prophet was a part of that culture. They all agree on this. What they disagree on is there a religious element to keeping a beard? Now, some people would say no, and I would fall in line with that. That it's not really religious; it was just more conventional and customary. But even if you say it was religious, they take the hadith that the Prophet is saying, "A'fu anil luha," let the beards grow, or they could take it as a command, grow your beards. You think, all right, take it. And the hadith says, be different to the Jews and Christians. Grow your beards, or do. It's an imperative, okay? A'fu anil luha. So, okay, fair enough. The problem here is, you see, when explained like that, it could seem that indeed, if despite a command having many interpretations, you see, there's a command, the imperative, which means rather the imperative, is the name for a command like sit, go, walk, read, look. These things are imperatives, the instructions to do something. Now, the imperative command can have many connotations. It can be done to mean do it as a command. It could be done as a request. It could be done as simply just an arbitrary statement, like um, like people say often, like they use. It could be done out of a courtesy. It could be done out of. So many people, when they say "have some food," for example, eat with me, it doesn't mean as a command. Eat with me, God damn it! It's more like, why don't you have some food with me? And the person could turn it down and say no, or take a seat, or sit over here, or so the question is, what kind of a command is it? But people could say, they could argue that no, we're just going to go be different from the Jews and the Christians. It's a religious command. We're going to take it at face value. Chalo theek hai. Bueno. Right, so the problem then, taklif ab bhi hai. That's the problem, The problem is that then there are at least two other hadith with this same format, exact same format, with the structure is in an imperative, it's a command, and it's followed with the structure of, it's connected to the structure of be different to the Jews and the Christians. One of them is dye your hair and your beards, like color them, dye them. So I know some people, I don't know whether they have an issue using the word dye with hair, or so whatever. Color uh your hair, be different to the Jews and the Christians. Now nobody would take that, even though it's a command, to mean it's an obligation in Islam. But they might take it upon recommendation. To be fair, they might say, well, it's good to color your hair to, and then somebody comes out with like electric blue or like bright pink. They go, but the hadith says, you know, Khalif al Yahuda wa Nasara. So that's one issue. But then there's the third hadith, and this is where things get really interesting. There's a hadith that Sallu fi ni'alikum, that pray with your shoes on. Khalif al Yahuda wa Nasara. Be different to the Jews and the Christians. यहाँ पे समस्या है बाबा, समस्या. This one big problem, you know, because the scholars would go mad if somebody tried to pray with their shoes on, for the most part. I mean, they might just about excuse it and tolerate it, but they, for the most part, would be very agitated by the thought of people. Hence, when the Salafis started praying with their shoes on, most the other madhabs kind of went into cardiac arrest. They had a heart attack. That what the hell? Pray with your shoes on. And yet the hadith structure is the same, and nobody would even say that it's, generally speaking, from the madhabs, that it's recommended to pray with your shoes on. They would just say, yeah, the Prophet said that, but it wasn't really a religious act. So this is where you look at this thing of the beard, and it falls in line with these narrations. And the beard is just one of them that allow the beard to grow, be different to the Jews and the Christians. So, you see, once you put it in line with all of these, it gives it a totally different flavor.